Hello everybody and welcome to today's episode on Grainificent. In today's episode I will be showing you how to use, load and unload this cheap little $1 film camera. It's a ripoff of some type of Canon model. I couldn't even find the original. This is the Canon Mate DX-AF55. Of course Canon spelled with a double N. So I usually make separate videos about how to load and unload and how to use, but other than loading and unloading there is nothing here to learn about this camera, so it would be a little bit stupid to make two separate videos about such simple of a camera, so I will fit everything in this one short video here. Let's get into how to load it, how to use it, and how to unload it. Let's get into it. And so we have this Canon Mate DX-AF55 film camera. And what do we need to use this? Of course we need batteries. It takes two AA batteries. Other than that, we need some type of film. I have here my little test film to test mechanisms of different cameras and if they work. So how do we put batteries in the camera? In this camera, in this model here, we have a little, by the leash, we have a little hole here. We just raise that up, just like that. This camera doesn't have any markings whatsoever. It's such a ripoff that it doesn't even say who it was made by and where. So we don't know nothing about that. It is a very cheap camera, so it's always something good to start out with. And for $1 or $2 or $3 that you can get this camera for, you have some nice advanced options. We will see the lens in another review when I take some photos with it, how the quality of the lens comes out, but other than that, it has some nice functions. So, we loaded the batteries, and now how to load film. We open the door with this button over here. We just pull it up and the doors open up, and as you see it doesn't have no film wind lever or anything like that because it is auto wind. It winds the film automatically after each shot, and it rewinds the film back into the cartridge after each shot as well. But before we load the camera, we have to make sure that this button over here, you see the rewind sign over here, because it says rewind to the left. If we click rewind to the left, it will start rewinding the film, as you see. So at that time it says run to the right. So we click to the right, so it runs. So that's, if you have the lens open, the camera on, it will not rewind. So if you put in the batteries, the camera's closed and it starts rewinding, making a sound like this, that means this button is set to rewind. Just flip it to run. And at that point, with the camera turned off, we open up the back and we load the film. We load it, of course, the cartridge upside down like that. We load it into the chamber, just like that. And we put the film up to this mark over here, something around there. And we want to make sure that the brackets fall onto those gears over here, so it grabs onto the film nicely. And of course, before we close the back, we have a little window here to see what film we have loaded. Make sure that these seals are in nice working condition. If they aren't, then just tape up this window so you don't have any light leaks. But mine are in perfect condition, so we could close it. And now we see what type of film we have put in here. And for it to wind to the first frame, having this lever set to the right, we open the camera and the camera takes 2 test shots to be on the first position. So we take the first shot and it loads us to a 0 position, and another one, and it loads us to the first position. And as you see, this is auto flash camera. This mark shows you that the film cartridge is spinning, that it is winding the film, as you see. It's an auto flash. It takes flashes whenever it decides it needs to. You can't turn off the flash in any way or form. It meters over here. There's a CDS meter. That's how it meters if it needs a flash or not. Because if you take a photo into the light, like into my light over here, as you see, it will not make a flash. But if I put it somewhere else that it meters outside away from light, it will do a flash. If you take photos too fast, it will not make a flash. And also, when the flash fully loads nicely, you will have a light over here that the flash is loaded. It is ready to shoot. Just like that. Let's take a flashlight. If the flash decides it won't shoot, as you see, you will get a light notifying you that there is enough light that the flash will not fire. If you don't get that light, the flash will fire. So, just like that. If you have this light, as you see now, the flash will not fire. Like you see. And if we take away the light, the flash will load then. And it will take a flash. When the flash loads and you take a photo of a subject that is well lit, the flash will still trigger, as you see, but it will not load another flash as long as it sees that the subject is well lit. If you take away the light, that's when you hear the flash started charging. You of course have your film counter up here, so you have to keep an eye on the film counter, because the camera will try to load past the last frame. So you could destroy the mechanism or something. As you will see, it will start having a hard time pulling in more film. As you see, it had a hard time loading this next frame. And now it has an even harder time. Don't try to overdo it. To rewind the film back into the frame, we have to turn off the camera and hit the rewind button. And when it's rewinding, the frame counters should be counting down. The frame counters sometimes count down, sometimes they don't. I noticed that if you keep track of your frames and try not to go past the 34, it should count down, but if you try to overdo it, it won't count down. At least that's my model. But since this is a test film, we can look inside how the rewind process works. When we click the rewind button and turn off the camera, it loads the film back into the cartridge, just like that. Now, of course, if you want your film leader sticking out, you can't do this in this camera, because you can't. If your counter is counting down, maybe you can catch it, but if it's not going to be possible to catch it. So it takes about 30-40 seconds to roll up a 36 frame film. So if you're not sure how long it's going to take to load it in, you just count to 60 while it's rewinding, and it should be all in there by that time. And to take it out, of course, we just take it out of the camera. And here we have the frame counters, of course. When they're spinning, that's when it counts the frames up top. Every time you open the door, it resets the top counter to start. And of course the viewfinder. So that would be all for this little tiny camera. So that, my friends, was how to load, use, and unload this cheap little camera. I will be doing a little review of this camera after I put a roll or two through it to see how the photos come out from it. So if you're interested in that, please remember to subscribe down below and hit the bell button to get notified whenever I post a new video so you don't miss it. Also, hit the like button down below. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. And if you want to see these videos, I flashed my eyes, in advance, feel free to look into channel memberships, where you have access to all my videos at least a week before they are posted for everybody else to see. So, thank you for watching, my friends. Take care and see you in the next video.